it has been a while since I uploaded an episode. I have been doing a lot of shadow work, healing, and integrating, and I will spill all of that tea in the next episode. But for today, I have a special episode for you guys. It is a chit chat with one of my soul sisters, Adrian, and I just love her so much. Adrian is a shamanic practitioner, medium, and a damn good tarot card reader. She does all sorts of readings and lives on TikTok, and they are scary accurate. When I've been low on energy and just needing some encouragement and clarity, her TikToks have come at the right time. So in this episode, we pretty much talk about everything under the sun. And as you can see, this is my longest episode yet. We talk about our mystical experiences, spirit guides, intuition, past lives, shamanism, and just so much. She does have some upcoming shamanic series workshops and tarot reading workshops coming out. So once I know more, I will share it with you guys, of course. And I will also post her information in the show notes if you want to book a shamanic session or reading or join her lives. And FYI, my cat Mittens makes her grand entrance this episode. To be honest, she literally makes an entrance every episode. As soon as I sit down to record, she will literally come out of nowhere and lay across my MacBook, start messing with my snowball or attacking the wires on my phone. She truly is my Garfield. And if she's not doing anything, then my son is. So, anywho, I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I will talk to you in the next one. Peace.
Forward on this. Okay. You should get, hey, this Adrian just started recording.
Hey, good morning, Adrian. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Sabrina?
I am pretty good. So, for those of you who don't know, this is my dear friend, Adrian. I met Adrian in shamanic training, and I just love her so much.
Love you so
So,
much.
thank so with Adrian, like during the training, I started following her TikToks. And if you ever see her on TikTok, she's like so good, so spot on. One thing I love about you is that you're so like raw with it. And like for you, I feel like tarot reading is as easy as breathing. Like
It
you're
is
just
now,
so
yeah. Yeah,
and
it hasn't always been, but it is now, yeah.
I'm just like, wow, like you just, I don't know, you just go. And
Thanks.
I love that. And then also like during shamanic training, when I had like unpleasant like life moments, I would like scroll and look at your videos, and they just so dear to me and got me through some rough times.
Oh, I'm so glad.
So what is it that you do? Like, how did you get started? I don't think I ever asked you that. How do you get started? And what is it that you do? Because you do more than just tarot as well.
Yeah, so all right, so I'll start with like I've always had gifts, as we call them a lot of times, right? So, and I didn't know it wasn't like a normal thing because as a child growing up, like I've always seen and spoken to loved ones that have passed over, and it was a common conversation. My dad's dad passed away when I was 10, and all six of us, so I'm one of four kids, and both my parents all talked about him visiting in our dreams, smelling him, like it was totally normal. So fast forward, I'm in the pandemic, and like I've always kind of sensed people's energy and I've just known things, but I didn't really understand all of the connection. um, I've always talked to my loved ones. I That just never stopped. So I do mediumship as well as tarot, but during the pandemic I was going through a breakup, and you know how we are when we're going through a breakup, we want like answers, we want to know the ending, we want to know how it's going to go, like all of that. And I found a reader on one of the many apps that were available, and I started scrolling TikTok, and I ended up in spiritual TikTok, and that's like every third one, he's coming back, he loves you, and he does all of those things, and he has popped up in my life regularly since then. But what happened is I connected to a reader And I started asking questions because I started noticing, like, as soon as I like did a reading with her as the person getting a reading, like I knew what was coming. She was just confirming stuff. So I said, "How does
Mhm.
this work?" And she was like, "Oh, you're super." And I had had a couple of readings through life. They're like, "You have like a lot of gifts. You have a lot of ability to connect." So that got
Mhm.
me on my journey to like just want to learn more. So the first thing I did was learn tarot, and that reader became a friend. um, she taught me with the gilded tarot, and she barely taught me. Like we ended up having a falling out, and before I ever met you, actually. um,
Aw.
yeah, and it happens, right? It was something super silly. And if she sees this, like I'm super grateful that you got me started on this journey because it's amazing.
Mhm.
She
Right.
gave me two pieces of advice. Yeah, exactly. She was like, she recommended the Gilded Tarot. A lot of people recommend the Rider Waite, and that's actually, I do teach how to read tarot, and that's the one that I use just because it's so common across like everywhere you go. That's the one I use. Um, so I just started reading for my friends and family. And
Mhm.
then one day I was called to ask a friend of mine. Actually, we weren't friends at the time. She owns a boutique, and it's a mix of like this hobo like clothing, home
Oh,
goods, but
mhm.
with a spiritual center. It was like the craziest combination. I was like, any chance you want somebody to read tarot? And she's like, yes. I did my first live event there. So if you're in the upstate New York Capital District, I do in person services here. Um, so I went to that shop, and it's Life Made Simple. So again, I'm plugging my friend. If anybody runs across this local, um,
Mhm.
so I started doing that. And then on TikTok, I met a reader, and I had a reading done with her. And she's like, I really feel like you're supposed to be on the shamanic path. And that's how I got to Golden
Mhm.
Light. So upstate New York, I'm going through shamanic journey in Wisconsin. I'm like, I've lost my mind, but you ladies are my soul sisters. We've got a
Mhm.
bond that. So
I
I do,
agree.
yeah. So I do shamanic healings and that kind of stuff, and I cover all of that on TikTok. I do not a full shamanic, but I'll look at past lives and crystallized energy and mediumship. Um, and I'm live a couple times a week, uh, just hanging out. So that's how I got started. That's the short of it. That's up to where we are today.
I never knew that. I didn't know you like started having gifts so young. Yeah, I've never asked you that.
Yeah.
So what um gifts are the strongest for you, like during a reading or just period?
Yeah.
What, like, is there one that kind of trumps the other?
Um, yeah, my clear, well, I would say clairsentient is what I usually tell people is my strongest, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to wonder if maybe my clear audience is also pretty strong, so I hear a lot. When I'm doing a reading, I'll ask. I have like all of my cards down down here. I've got like I don't even know how many decks anymore. My son actually also reads tarot. Um, so we have a couple that we share. Like I don't.
Oh.
There's my daughter's like, you guys are so weird, and all right, kids, so are you. It's fine. Um, but I'll pick up like I'll start talking to a client, and I'll ask what they're here for. Is there a specific question? Is it a general reading? And I use both tarot and oracle now. Tarot is a more standard. You can get any artwork on the tarot, but that's a 78 card deck typically because it's usually around Rider Waite. There's a couple different um primary tarot, like I don't know how to refer to them, but and
Mm-hmm.
then every other tarot deck is uses that as its base. So it's got all the same cards, just maybe a
Mm-hmm.
little bit renamed. The art's totally different. So that's my primary. So while I'm sitting and listening, I'll be drawn to one of my decks that I have with me, and I'll pick that up and I'll just start shuffling. Um, and the cards will just start falling out. And I
Oh wow.
tell all of my clients, you can tell me as much or as little as you want, and we'll just
Mm-hmm.
go because some people come and I can tell they're skeptical of what I'm about to do. Every once in a while, I'll start a tarot reading and a loved one will come through, and I'm like, so this is a mediumship. We're actually going to talk to grandpa. That's, I have one client who I do a lot of readings for, and her husband passed away just about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Every reading he comes in, and I'm like, so Gracie, your husband actually wants to kind of lecture you right now, tell you that you need to like love yourself. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I know you asked the question about your job, but that's other plans. So I really allow spirit to guide me through my sessions. I do have clairvoyance. It's not as strong, um, but I've noticed with mediumship, I see like waves of energy, and I'll see things. I'll get images, flashes of movies. Um, if people actually heard inside my head, probably I would probably get committed because the amount of stuff that's coming in at any given time. And then there's the claircognitions where I'm just like, I just know something, and like an hour later, whatever, how much ever time later, I get confirmation that it was right. Um, which annoys people, by the way. And I'm like, I'm really not a know-it-all. Like I just say things, and I'm like,
Like, boom,
filter. And anyone who's spent 4 consecutive days with me 4 times in a year knows that sometimes things come out of my mouth and I go, ooh,
I
filter.
don't know where that came from.
No, sorry. Um, I do believe in coming from a very genuine integrity place. There's a lot of people out there who aren't doing their work, who aren't healing, and then those readings can be very skewed based on their, their where they're at. And I've noticed a change in my readings. I use
Mm-hmm.
cards more for other people's comfort or just to get the message flowing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just start talking.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. It's so easy for you, like as you're going through the cards. I'm like, it's like you just go.
Yes.
You so when someone comes in for like a reading from you, and they're closed off, does that affect like how you read? Because I know like for like hands-on energy, like sessions, when I do that with people, I can feel like when they're closed off. And it kind of makes me feel like unsure or something about my when they do that. Like I really, if you're not open, I guess, then it's really not much I can do for you because you have to like be a participant in your own healing.
Yeah. Tarot and mediumship, I would say both of them give me an opportunity to help break down that wall a lot of times. I'm able to, one of the first things when I have somebody walk in, um, I like you, I can kind of sense if they're a skeptic, if they're closed off. And I do have to work harder for those. I definitely have to work harder to get those messages. Um, but what I do in those moments, like as I'm connecting, and I sometimes I'll even mutter it to myself, but a lot of times in my head as I'm connecting to my spirit team and their spirit team, I'm like, please give me something that will open
Mhm.
their heart to this message. Like they walked
Okay.
here for a reason. And when I do my spiel, I say that to them too. I'm like, you're here for a reason. Um,
Hmm.
something drew you to me. So, I hope you're open to receive. Like, stop me, ask questions. And I think who I am as a general person and the fact that most people pick up really quick that like I come from an honest place and I come from like a very peaceful, genuine.
Hmm.
I am told a lot. I have that energy. People are like, you just make me feel really comfortable. And I'm like, thank you. Like I am wacky as they come. Like I'm I'm quirky, but I'm glad I make you feel comfortable.
And so, my first, I think I've told you this before in training. So, my first experience with tarot, I was like a freshman, sophomore, and me and my cousin, it was like a Barnes and Noble style type of store back in the day. And we go into this bookstore and I buy a deck of tarot cards. And like maybe I was so excited. Within like a day or two, my mom had me throw them in the garbage because her boyfriend was afraid of them. Like he had a dream, like a super devilish dream, and they did reimburse me, which is a good thing.
That's
They
good.
had me throw them away, and they made me they reimbursed me. And so then, like, maybe when I was 25, I end up getting like an oracle card reading, and I was scared as hell. It was a beautiful reading though, but I think like some of that fear from back then kind of made me kind of, I guess, rear away from tarot and oracle, which I love now. Was your family like supportive, or your closest relatives supportive of you doing readings?
Oh yeah. So my mom actually, which I didn't know at the time, like I knew she saw like a medium almost weekly. Like because back then, I was like 11, so we're talking like 35-ish years, 35 years ago. They had like the mini recorders and you were allowed to bring them in and record the reading. And I found some of them. Sorry, mom. Anywho, um, the woman that she went to had her buy a rider waite, which I didn't know, but she never felt connected to it. So when
Uh-huh.
I first started reading, my sister was here and she's like, do a reading. And like I did a reading. She's like, holy crap. So it became, and I remember my stepdad, June of 2020, my stepdad was really sick and we all flew to Florida to be with my mom. Like we weren't sure if he was going to make it. So we pulled the tarot deck out and we're all like reading the tarot. And I was so uncomfortable showing what I could do. I was so nervous about not being good enough that I didn't do a lot. But my sister came to see me. I saw her not long after that, maybe 6 months, 8 months, and I had my deck. And now I travel everywhere with a deck, as you know. There's always one around
Oh,
me. And so I just started. She was like, "Can
a
you do
couple.
this?" They now call me. They're like, "Can you do a reading?" And I'm like, "Yes, I can do a reading." Um, and it's funny. My mom was a little resistant to me doing like shamanic work on the family, and it's interesting. We had a real traumatic event with my dad, my biological dad, when I was about 12.
Hmm.
And 3 out of 4 of us kids and my mother are all going through events right now in our lives that are parallel to that. So last night, my mom and I were talking, and she's telling me, and I'm tracking, I'm like, you have a soul contract. Do you mind if I journey tomorrow for you? Like, they're like, whatever. She's the kooky one. She was the normal one. She was the normal one. Not anymore. I shake a rattle, bang a drum. But now they call me. So they've always been supportive. Um, they've, like I said, it was not ever taboo in my life. It was never something that wasn't accepted. Now
Hmm.
I always get a little nervous when I start dating somebody, especially now that I have like a super public TikTok account where I do this all the time. I'm like, so how do I explain to a gentleman that I talk to dead people? Yeah, they'll find me on TikTok. It'll explain. It'll be self-explanatory. So that I would say is a place that I spend a little time in my head trying to, but it's a huge part of who I am. I'm hoping eventually I'll be able to leave my day job as a global training manager so that I can work the shamanic healings. I know eventually I want to go for Reiki and stuff too, but
Hmm.
in the meantime, it's paying for my daughter to go to college. So
Yes, yes, yes. I would love that. I would love to see, yeah, you like transition. I
yeah,
think we've had that conversation before.
yeah,
So, okay, question.
yeah.
What is your favorite deck and why?
Ooh, all of them. So,
Which,
okay, so what I'll say is my tried and true is actually the light seer. I always have one of these. I actually had to retire one of my light seer decks already because
um,
I use it so often. But my daughter got me a Disney villain one. So I
mhm.
like that one. I love my unicorn oracle. Like I literally have all of them here. Um,
Oh,
Yeah, so and then I have like so really in my lightsaber I don't think I've taken out of like circulation since I've started tarot. But I do go through phases where some decks just really call to me and I'll have them. I have about 4, like when I'm live on TikTok, I have about 4 tarot and a handful of oracles that are in circulation. But my life seer's my tried and true. I have these this is another one, Enchanted Soul and Enchanted Dream.
Which one is that? I missed it. You
I'm gonna
kind of froze.
Enchanted Soul and Enchanted
Oh,
Dreams. This one is
oh,
all feminine energy. There's actually, so in Rider Waite, you have masculine and feminine energy. We all do, right? So you see men on the art and all the decks, but this one, while you still have the masculine cards, you have the kings and you have all those, they're just chairs. My best
gotcha.
friend passed away of breast cancer in September
Oh,
of 20. And I went
sorry.
to like, oh, it's, that's a great thing about being, connected to the dead. We talk all the time. She's yelled at me a few times, like, you know better, lady. And I'm like, I sure do. Yep. I hear her laugh all the time. But this deck, it is one of, like, this one is a special place. This one will never go. I don't always use it. It's not always in circulation, but I went to like a metaphysical, right? We're in the pandemic. She passes away April. They have
Mm-hmm.
open air um, Mind, Body, Soul Expo every year up. Saratoga Springs is the area that I'm in. And I went, and this deck, I just kept walking by. My best friend finally went, "Are you going to buy that?" I'm like, one of my other
Oh,
best friends. She's like, "Are you going to, living?" She's like, "Are you going to buy that?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I didn't understand why I was so drawn to it. And I open it up and I get to the Six of Pentacles, which is usually a pretty benign card, but it's like a balance of good and, of just good stuff, a reciprocated relationship. And there's all
mm-hmm.
these butterflies, and that's Amy's sign for me
Oh,
when she's around. And it's got two scales, and I'm a Libra. And I was like, oh, okay, Amy. You couldn't just tell me? Like, you talk to me. You couldn't just tell me to buy the deck? She's like, and then she's like, haha, no, no, but I'm like, um,
oh, beautiful. So, how do you know when you need to retire a deck? Because I never heard that
oh,
before.
yeah, I didn't either. It was one of those things because I'm relative, like for the most part, I'm self-taught. I have a book that I used a lot of at first, Guided
Oh,
Tarot.
I
And you
think I saw something like that on Amazon. Amazon.
yeah, I
Okay.
got it from a book, like a place here, but it gives you the card and it gives you a bunch of different meanings.
Mm-hmm.
But the woman that taught me in the first place, she's like, get the book, throw them out. So I'm a Virgo and I am highly technical in my day job. That was a very hard lesson for me. I'm a very intuitive reader. So there are certifications out there you can go through. I have not. Um, and I feel like because it's really just one of my tools in the tool bag when I do a session.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's some very like rigid beliefs around some of these cards. So if that's something that speaks to you, that's a direction to go learn. But I'm highly intuitive with it. So like I'd open the book and I'd like have done the reading and then I would like go and check it and see. And I was like, oh yeah, that's not wrong. But it helped me like better understand like the astrological pieces of it because people who do tarot a lot of, or who request tarot ask a lot of questions about that and stuff. So over time, that book has been super handy as a reference. I literally had to like dig it off of my bookshelf to figure out where it was. I haven't used it in a while, but it was a great tool when I first started.
Yeah, I think that's important, like finding your own interpretations of the card.
Yeah.
I think that gives you an ability to like go deeper with your gifts and really pull those messages from spirit instead of saying like, this is what this card means and this is the only interpretation there is of it. You know what? I want to ask you, can you do, we do a pull, a one card pull every episode. Can you do
Oh,
an odd card pull for this episode?
one card pull.
Yeah. Or, if several fall out, that too.
All right. Let's
'Cause-
see. Oh, you asked me about retiring a deck. So let me, while I'm shuffling the cards, let me tell you what happened. The cards will get sticky. You do have to recharge them, but energy will stick to the cards. And I got to a place that I could no longer recharge my deck. It didn't stop sticking. So I was like, so
oh,
then I read like different ways to to retire. The decks,
Mhm.
so I was like, well, let me, right now it's in my altar, because I feel like at some point I'm going to use them for something. I just don't know what yet. It's, sometimes stuff just happens. So oh,
Mhm.
there it is. I feel like I need to pull a couple more. And there are spreads. Um, I don't do spreads either. I probably drive like conventional traditionalists with the cards nuts when they come into my if they ever come into my lives, because I'm like, and I'll pull the same card and it'll mean three different things for three different people, and I'm like, don't get too hung up on the cards.
Yeah, you pulling like is no pattern.
No,
It's just freestyle.
it is very freestyle. It's intuitive reading. It's a little bit of organized chaos, and anybody who knows me knows that that's pretty much my life. So the very first card that came out was the Three of Pentacles. Now this card is a general read and not specific to any one area, is about building your tribe. It's about teamwork and it's about finding balance in that. So for this, it's just coming together, and the places that you and I have walked that have brought us into this nice, lovely balance. Pentacles also is earth energy, so very grounded, and it's bringing in abundance. So as we work together as a team, we we work and we improve ourselves, but also there's times on this journey we have to go within, go alone, and we heal, and that healing allows us to bring ourselves to our truest potential and our healthiest self. And then finally, the Lovers card, again, as a general read, this is about finding passion for me in this particular reading. It's just about just knowing the roots of who your soul is and what you want to do, and finding. And for me,
Mhm.
that's really what tarot has allowed me to do. Without this, I wouldn't have found my soul tribe. I wouldn't have found, um, taking a leap of faith is really important in life sometimes, be it love or career. But yeah, three card pulls are really easy and a really great way to practice too.
Mhm.
That's
So with the three card pull as well, you don't do like present. What is it like past,
present,
present?
past, future. You can do that. Like block, outcome. There's three card pulls can do a whole lot of stuff for you. No, I don't. Like when so I tried to do pulls for a little while and learn the different spreads, and people are like, "What is happening to your readings?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm not supposed to do those, though. I know that much. Because you've seen me, I'm just so natural and it flows out. When I try and force it into that present, past, future, whatever, and I say I only want three cards, Spirit's like, here, have half the deck, and I'm like, well, now what am I supposed to do? um and I encourage anyone who is trying to do this, like, don't force yourself into anything. Allow it to like literally feel right for you, and as it feels right, it just, it's more natural, and it's going to be more authentically yourself.
Mhm.
So
Okay, so what I heard you mention it a little bit, like how has tarot like improved your life, empowered you, changed you? Like what is it about tarot versus the other modalities for you?
I so it's funny, tarot like really opened my eyes to
Mhm.
just how I, how do I say it, because I don't want it to sound like, oh, she's so egotistical, because that's not it. But I didn't understand what was going on in my head and in my body all the time. That tarot let me sort that out. Like, I've learned how to really just figure out what's my energy, what's somebody else's energy through tarot.
Mhm.
I don't need that anymore. I wouldn't. Tarot's like my roots, so I go back to it. Tarot also brought a connection between me and my mom and my sister, um, that I don't think we ever really had before. Even though like we have this weird dynamic where we're really close, but at the same time we also live spread across the country. Like, it's space is a good thing, but like the conversation I had with my mom never would have happened a year ago without us like getting arguing and that kind of stuff. Like, she could acknowledge like some of the stuff that had happened, and like she's like, well, no, you actually did tell me that. And I was like, so why did you always tell me I hid things, like, in my head? But um
Mhm.
Now I would say shamanic healings are actually my favorite when I get to help like just whole
Yeah.
person.
Mm-hmm.
But what I find, tarot is safe for people who are just putting their toe in spirituality. It's not
Mm-hmm.
scary. It helps open up their mind to other potential. But for me, it was a way for me to have get confidence that I don't think I've ever had outside of like my career, um,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of figure out who I was.
Mm-hmm. That's my so disturbing my recording. What were
No,
you saying?
and when I say tarot, I mean oracle too. They're just one and the same. I don't use one or that's not true. I use tarot primarily, but I've noticed as I kind of grow in my practice, I'm getting pulled more and more to oracle. Um, yeah.
Yeah, me, I like Oracle better. I don't know if it had anything to do with earlier on in my teen years and that experience, but I remember I did, I don't know, do you guys have like a five and below
We
in
do.
New York?
Yeah.
Okay. So
That's actually where I got that guided tarot book.
I've seen it somewhere.
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen,
on Amazon too. It is on Amazon.
but I went to a five and below and they had like a tarot card deck.
Nice.
Um, and I tried to like do it, and then all my cards were upside down. I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I find for me the oracle cards are better. But it like what's the difference between the two?
Yeah. So tarot, like I said, it's built on like there's Rider Waite. There's another one too. I don't remember the name. That's got a like it's a I want to say like an 81 card deck. And I have a
Mhm.
mix of like what they start with, but it's very standard. They have major arcanas and then they have the four decks.
Okay.
So you've got, and they sometimes you'll see them named as different things, but pentacles, fire is wands typically, swords is so pentacle or earth energy, wands are fire energy, astrology signs, swords are air, and then what am I missing? Water cups. So you have that's what a tarot deck is. The major arcana is where there's the difference between the different like bases that they're made on. And then Oracle can be any number. I find 44 very often in the Oracle decks. And
Oh,
then
okay.
um, the energy is just different. They usually give you specifics to it. So, like, I have a medicine woman, the unicorns, which I love. And then I have two different shamanic Oracle decks. And they have different energy to them. Now, I actually, because, you had sent me some questions. So I looked at them. I looked up to see what, like, the experts call the difference. I don't think you can ever be an expert in any of this stuff, but
Hmm.
the oracle decks are said to have more stronger energy for them. um the one thing I'll say about oracle, I don't read for myself because I know I can influence my own energy, but I have a easier time if I really just need like one card for direction. I'll pull out an oracle and I can pull that, but they're all different. But
Because I find it hard, like so back in January we did the new paradigm like 13D workshop, and the teacher for the workshop, she came in like with a box of like a tarot card was in there, oracle decks, um rocks like she had collected because she also went to Amy's for shamanism.
okay.
And now I can't find one of my kuyas, and guess which one is in there? The one I picked up from her.
Of course.
So I was kind of freaking out about that. I was like,
Spirits
where?
got jokes.
So what I was saying was, okay, so I did pick up a few. I got my daughter a fairy deck since fairies love her, and I got like a earth oracle deck, and it's like, how would you do a reading with those, like more than just one card pull?
I
You would do that.
I do the same with Oracle as I do with Tarot. I shuffle and I pull out the cards that call to me. Um,
Mhm.
I find with Oracle, they tell the story differently. I
Mhm.
don't need as many cards. I don't usually, I shouldn't say I don't need as many. I don't usually get as many cards when I pull Oracle. Um, I find when I'm doing career readings, I get pulled to my Oracle a lot. Or if I have somebody who is also meant to be on a spiritual path of some sort, I tend to get pulled to Oracle, which has just started happening since our last directions in January, which was a very interesting shift for me. Um, I don't think there's a right answer in there. I think our energy pulls to it. The unicorn deck, we have a metaphysical shop. I'd gone up. What's that?
I said I love unicorns.
I know, me too. So I'm going to Scotland as a pilgrimage. Their
Mhm.
animal is unicorn.
What? And I've
Yes.
been. I even got John hooked on Outlander.
Me too. I've been watching it. It's gonna be a
I'm
little bit my lazy Saturday. Um, but so I was
you.
at this. I had done
Wow.
healing with Amy, and she told me I had to
Hmm.
do a water ceremony. And she explained where I had to go. I knew exactly where it was. It's up in Saratoga, which is a lot of history, a lot of paranormal activity and stuff. So I go up there and we have a metaphysical shop, and I go in and they have this wall of oracle and everything else. And I knew I was supposed to find two decks in there. I'm like, two decks, like okay. And I kept going, and I'm like, there's another, and I can't even tell you now. I have all these decks. I don't know which ones I got there. I don't know. Except I got the unicorns there because I kept going and I'm like, where's the other deck? And I take it and I look at it, I'm like, nope. I take it and I look, I'm like, nope. And then I all of a sudden I get pulled to drop down to at the bottom, and behind stuff I see this. That's all I see. And I was like, I
Oh.
just see the side. That's it. So I pull it out and I this is the front of the box, and I was like, oh yeah, that's the deck. That's the deck. And I left. I also had to get crystals. It was one of those it was one of those that I was like, whoo, I don't know how often I can come up here because that was expensive. um but they have a lot of like staging stuff there too, and they're locally owned and it's family. They've been around for 100 years up there, so
Uh,
yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of how it's always happened. I walk around, I get called into one of our metaphysical shops, and I just wander around until I find the deck. I've been called to donate give decks to friends before, so I've done that. I've gifted decks to my son. Um, yeah,
wow. Is that one of the ways of retiring the decks too? Is just to give it away,
I
like to
wouldn't.
recycle it?
I wouldn't call that, no. So that's a little bit different. So there's retiring it. It really, they're tired. They won't, they just don't have, you just can't remove the energy. So that you might give somebody a single card as a reminder, something like that. They do recommend burying them, which I actually think is what I'm going to end up doing out in my backyard to give it back to Mother Earth, because it's just paper. It'll disintegrate over time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'll journey on it when it gets warmer. No, gifting, and there's some practitioners who believe you should only ever give or be gifted cards. I don't believe that. um
Right.
right, because it's spirit telling you you're supposed to do this. But I have been called before. My gilded, my first deck ever, I was called to give one of my students that I taught how to read tarot locally. She just
Mhm.
kept picking them up. I'm like, you're supposed to take them. She's like, what?
Oh,
You're supposed to take them. She's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. They're not mine anymore. And I was never using them, ever. They stayed on my shelf. I have a couple decks up there now that at some point will probably be gifted to somebody.
I end up picking up like a dragon oracle deck. I don't know why this obsession with dragons came about, but at the workshop back in January, they were in a box. I was like, oh, I gotta have them. And then I've been listening to like dragon light language, kind of freaking out my kids and stuff. But I was just like, it was just so funny to see that deck in the box. I'm like, these are for me.
Yeah. I thought it was crazy with the unicorns. I'd already booked my trip to Scotland, and that's a past life pilgrimage. I know of at least three lives that I'm like going there to kind of connect with for different reasons. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm really excited. I'm under a month now.
I know. I can't wait to hear all the stories. I think that is so cool. And maybe that unicorn deck was like that confirmation,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Um, I will continue to TikTok from there. If I go live or not is remains to be seen, but I'll definitely post from there.
It'll be cool to do it outside. I don't know if it does it get hotter. I mean,
No,
air.
it's about the same. So in April's actually really nice. It's about the same as it is here, so like 50s ish. So, but I'm gonna be pretty far up north, so we'll see. But I've been like tracking the weather and stuff. Um, and but they have like 14 hours of daylight in April. How crazy is that?
I
Yeah, which
was
is
reading
good.
Norway. Their weather is crazy too, where they have midnight. It's still sunny outside.
Yes.
Then they go through months of like no sun.
Yep.
I would be stressed. I wouldn't know myself.
Yeah. Well, I think where I'm at is just a tad further north than Green Bay. I think in Milwaukee. But we do have longer darkness through this time of the year than like states just a little bit further south of us. But during the summer, my mom lives in Fort Myers. I have a full hour more of sunlight than she does.
Oh,
How's that? Like,
put it in her face a little bit.
no, no, because it's nice and warm. I know not to do that, but one day she's like, I'm watching sunset, and I looked outside and it was still pretty bright. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, my sunset's a full hour earlier than yours. I was like, huh, no idea.
That is crazy. Wouldn't think that either.
No,
Well, I think, do you mind doing like a little mini pool for me?
no, never. You know I'll do a pull for you. I was like, what decks do I need downstairs for Sabrina?
I can't hear you. You're breaking up.
Uh-oh. I was like, what decks do I need down here? Can you hear me okay? Uh-oh, you froze.
Okay.
There you are.
Okay.
Yeah,
There
you
we go.
froze for half a second. Yeah, no, I was like, ooh, what decks? So just real quick, this is the rider weight box. So that's the one that like is most common. And that's what this book is built off of.
Okay.
I don't have the gilded anymore, but I like the gilded is pretty art, which is draws to me. Um, I'm trying to think what deck's calling to me for you. That one, that one. It's not going to be mini, apparently, Sabrina.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with tarot, and then I have two oracle decks. So this is Spirit Song.
Uh-huh.
This is the deck that I'm gonna
Oh.
call to for you. So this is a Rider Waite based deck,
Mhm.
but it uses different things for the suits. Oh, the lovers is apparently very specific for you because that you just had three cards fall. I know. Okay.
Please don't let it be love, please. That like you
Well, I
need
don't
this.
know. So that's the thing. At first, I was like, is it love? No, but it is talking about, oh, goodness, girlfriend. Okay. So you're actually going through this place of major transformation in your life. It's actually not just it's not about love. It's more about self-love and finding your inner beauty and just truly like stepping into your authentic self. So the first card that came out was the Lovers, but it came out with the Knight of Crystals, which is like the um pentacles, right? So it's a
Mhm.
very slow moving. And then the Empress. So those three cards came out together. And so what that's telling me is your journey of self love has been slow and steady. You've continued to look for yourself, but I'm getting that you feel a little bit stuck where you're at, and that's through the Hangman. But really, you're stuck so you can change your perspective and look and actually see how beautiful your direction has been and really
Mhm.
it might feel slow, it might even feel backwards right now, but they say that arrow gets pulled back right before it shoots forward, and I feel like that's what's going on. It's time to remember your manifestations and look at them. So the magician is all about co-creating with the divine. So don't lose that voice, and don't forget that good and bad, whatever we put out to the universe is what comes back to us in that time. 10 of acorns is the 10 of wands, and in our traditional tarot, that's like burdensome, but in this one it takes a beautiful shift to it, and it talks about the dedication and responsibility. So I feel like you have this balance of, well, I have all this responsibility for my family, but I really want to be doing this. And
But
then I got the high priestess and the awakening card together, and that is talking to your higher self, trusting your intuition. And I feel like, the push pull that you're going through is really for your higher self. And I am picking up, you've got a little resistance towards the direction you're being pushed, and you're like, nope, I'm not quite ready. Almost like I'm seeing you dig your heels in, being like, no, 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 I'm not ready. I'm not ready. They're saying you're ready. They're saying you're ready. And then I was called to pull the Medicine Woman Oracle. So this is very, very connected to our shamanic work that we've done. I have no idea. There's a book in there. I've never opened that book. um, we're not going to today either. So there's some different pieces of this. Oh, reverse cards. Some people read them, some people don't. Traditionals always read them. Whatever I get called to do in the card is how I read them. I rarely do it. And not because I don't remember them. I know most of them. It's just because I feel like the message is more about slowing yourself down and paying attention to that than the reversal. So your body's power, I feel like you're like ignoring the signs and synchronicities that are hitting yourself physically and metaphysically. You're like, nope. Oh, look, intuition came up again. You really need to listen to your intuition and go back to the stories of your ancestors and ground into Mother Earth. Find that basis, find the roots of the shamanic practice.
I was just talking to a friend yesterday. I'm feeling very caught like yesterday. First off, I was up like doing whatever like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I didn't get up because I said, you know what? I'm going to do a solo nature walk. Never done it before, but I feel so called to be out in nature.
Yeah. And I think that's going to help bring clarity to like what you're struggling with. And of course, the last one, I can't not pull some unicorns for you. No, I get that. I get like you just, and it's funny because I have to do the same thing today or tomorrow. I've got to go up to Saratoga, get some more water for my water ceremonies, and just,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of us right now going through that where we feel like we want to be up in the ethers, but at the same time, we really have to ground our bodies in Mother Earth and remember how much we get from her too.
Exactly.
Sometimes when you read for people, you're like, oh, I might be in the same place.
Me too. Yeah, and that is my struggle, that pull with like, I need to do this, but I should be doing this.
Yeah.
And just kind of feeling stuck. Like I've been like pushing myself to do online. I've been doing a couple like free sound bowl healings, healing circles on Eventbrite. Because Tuesday we were supposed to do the group Zoom, but I actually did a sound bath at one
Nice.
studio. It's just like getting myself out there and not being like, oh, you're not ready yet. That's exactly what I'm going through.
Yeah, and that was the tip for me back in the fall, right between our second and third shamanic directions. I was pushed to start going live, and I did the same thing. I was doing free readings, and even now I'll do a free oracle pull, or I'll do a free yes or no for people during my lives at the start, sometimes in the middle. I do feel like you're having a hard time. There might be a block in the throat chakra a little bit, like speaking your truth, creating you to be a little angry. But look, we have to take our darkness and integrate our shadows with us, and that gives us strength, and it forges a strength that we don't always have. So that whatever you're going through right now, the feel of I should be, like one is truly your ego and one is truly your intuition. It's time to like kind of have that at odds with each other and figure out which layer you've got to
Oh, you're
release. Patience. Have patience with yourself. Nothing
so
is easy.
uh,
What's that?
no. I said, what's so funny? Well, I'll tell you after this
Okay.
patience card because I
Yeah,
need that too.
patience. Well, I've got two more that are down here. So let me just finish that. So, patience with yourself, because truly you need to honor that goddess inside of you, the beauty that you bring to the world, because you are beautiful and you have an amazing light inside you. That's going to bring so much possibility. You're going to be able to spread your wings and truly take off in the direction you want to go. You won't feel like you have to stay somewhere for the stability of providing. You'll be able to soar. That's what I got for you, sister.
Oh, thank you. That was so spot on. So funny thing, I met with some friends. We try to meet like once a month for channeling. And soon as I pulled up, my throat started hurting. So I already knew like we did like group meditations and stuff, but I already knew like it's something's going on there. So and then the funny thing is I've been doing like the shadow integration.
Mhm.
And I was laying in bed one night and like about to doze off to sleep, but I wasn't sleep yet, that state right there. And this overwhelming feeling came over me, and I started getting a vision of me running barefoot through the woods, and there was like a man chasing me, and like I was ahead of him, and he picked up something and he shot it at me and hit me in the head. I fell to the ground, which gave him time to run up, um, to run up on me, and I was actually laying on the ground, and he started choking the life out of me. Like he strangled me to death, and he drug my body um, to a big pile of other people that were dead. So he just drug my lifeless body for a while and then just like chucked it on top of a pile of other people. So I'm assuming, I know that's the feeling I got. It was like a witch hunt, and I was killed for being a witch.
Yeah, that's absolutely a past life. I totally tracked as soon as you started telling it. Yeah.
And I was just like, all of a sudden, like that came up. So I'm like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So Sarah did a little brought the sweetness in that life to me.
Oh, nice.
But it was just like that could be the reason for the
Yeah.
throat as well.
Yeah. I've had to go through a couple of witch wound
Mhm.
past life healings. And that's one of the ones in Scotland. I was burned at the stake there as a healer during the Outlander times, actually. So I have three lifetimes during that 100-year period um, that are all coming very strongly through. The visions I've had when I've been watching like Outlander, and it's been interesting. It's been a very interesting dynamic. Um,
That yeah, that's actually a good show. Like I
yeah,
was like crying, like all the emotions.
yeah,
That's wow, that is amazing. And they actually have an episode where there is a
yeah,
they're accused of being witches, which I thought was so funny when a man came out with the gun.
yeah, yeah.
He did not want them touching her.
Well, that's 100%. And I had no idea that that happened in Outlander. I was telling my mom, and she's like, that happens in Outlander. So I had a past life with my mother. She was my mom. She, like me, and then I had a sister in that lifetime too. We were healers, and everybody knew we were healers, but this is part of my gifts too. Like, I've got medical intuitiveness, what that comes through a lot in shamanic healings. Um, I have a guide who was a doctor and a healer in every lifetime since our last directions.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that. So,
yep, yeah, yeah. So I was telling my mom about this. She's like, "No, that literally happened in Outlander. I couldn't watch it." So what had happened is the mayor, like the political leader of the village we were in, his wife was dying, and everybody knew she was dying. There was no way I was going to save her, but and this is going to probably ring a little bit of parallel to some of the stuff from our last directions. Um, I couldn't save her, but I was going to help make her better. And
Mhm.
my sister, because she was like an herbalist, she ended up making it through, but because I couldn't save her and she died anyway, and I was set up in that lifetime, my mom and I were set up so that we could be tried. We ended up
Mhm.
getting burned at the stake. My mom's like, "Is that why I couldn't watch it?" I'm like, "Yeah, 100%. That's why you couldn't watch it."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I did healing on that lifetime, and I know I'll do more when I'm in Scotland. Um, Hopefully, it'll help my mom, to be honest.
Oh, wow. So even she, like watching the episode, like it was so
Yeah.
painful for her to just even watch.
Yeah.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
amazing how like the people, our family and stuff that we're connected to in this lifetime, how we probably had several lifetimes together and not even know it.
Yep. Yeah, my son's been my son in a bunch of lives. My ex-husband's been my brother in a couple of lifetimes. Guys I've dated, like I've had lifetimes come up with them multiple times over. I was like, and I've got some parallels, as you know, with a like a current relationship. Um, so it's been really interesting. You're like, you can't even make it up. Like for yourself, you start to think you're a little crazy, because you're like, this just sounds like I'm like
That's this at all.
I'm just, I'm like, I'm just pulling in like my own thing. But then, but then you do it for somebody else and they're like, how did you know that? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I literally, my imagination is not that good, guys. Like, I couldn't do that myself.
That's what I'm like when you like go to you find look at every episode my cat makes an appearance. He makes a cameo. She just busts the door open. So she'll probably jump up here.
That's
So
perfect. My dogs are snoring on either side of me.
what was I saying about like you can't like make some of this stuff up, like the locations and all what's going on. It's like how the hell would you possibly know that? And I remember my knee was hurting in one of the directions. And then I finally said something to you about it and you journeyed for me and it was like what an ice pick or something.
Yeah, it
I
was
was
something stabbed into your knee.
but then after that session, like that next day, like I have had no problems with my knee.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I have a friend who's got some health things and she'll like text me she's not feeling well. I'm like, well, do you want me to do something? And last night she's like, this is the best I felt all day. I'm like, you had some stuff around your spine. I just had to pull it out. I don't. She's like, anything specific? I said, not really, actually, because sometimes it's not specific. It's just like you're carrying around a burden that you're just not releasing. You know what I mean? So yeah. And then
Oh wow. Look, it's playing. I hope she doesn't knock my
I was saying I saw her tail like for a
my
second.
she's too much. She really is. So what advice, I think this is gonna be maybe the second to last question. What advice do you have for people who are curious to try tarot reading or like become a reader?
To become a reader, if you're called to it, follow that calling. Like, don't, we both talked about like not feeling good enough. That's really your ego. That's really your like years and lives of like having been persecuted for this work. Follow your calling. So the first thing is maybe find somebody that you connect with that does readings and just get a reading from them, like see if they're willing to connect with you and like help guide you. There's a lot of readers out there who offer learn to read. You can do that. I'm like I said, I'm mostly self-taught. I kind of like fell my way around, but if you feel called, just go with it.
That's yeah, that's good. That's good advice. That's beautiful because I think sometimes we try to do the opposite, like me. Like I think this year I'm actually going to get into herbalism. Like I've been like stalking this particular school online for like 3 years and I'm like, you know what? I think it's time. Like just to go with it, just to trust yourself and see where it takes you.
Yeah.
Um And the last question, my dear, is where do people find you?
All right, so TikTok, Bella Virago Tarot, and there's also a Bella Virago. I have both. They're both me. Um, I do Bella Virago Tarot is my primary account, and the other one's my backup. I'm on Instagram, Bella Virago as well. So that means beautiful warrior. That's my business name. And
I
then
want that. Okay.
Yep, my website is Bella Virago. So it's VIRAGO LLC.com. Which is also, if you find me on TikTok, you're gonna find me, you'll find my website because it's there. Um, and then like I said, if you're local, I do show up at different shops and different expos. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's those. My website is probably the easiest, or TikTok's probably the easiest to start with, and then navigate to my other stuff. I post channeled messages. I post all sorts of stuff on there. I posted a what is shamanism today to like do that. I've done series on clairs and what those mean. So I don't just do tarot on that page, but it's a great place to start. And I am talking about my learn to read and my intro to shamanism classes that I'll be offering in the later spring on that page and when I'm live and stuff.
Okay, that was my next question. When are we going to get some workshops for you?
Yes,
From you.
from
So,
me. So I am gonna actually put up both the learn to read and intro to shamanism classes as pre-books so that you're signed up to get the communications. Because I don't know how many weeks yet in the shamanism, and the learn to read is 5 weeks. So I have to kind of like plan the schedule out for that still. So that's coming.
see what I mean?
And Spirit's like, and the curtains down.
This is Mittens. This is what Mittens
Wow.
do. Has to make an
Of
entrance
course.
and exit every time.
Every time. You want to connect. Animals are great transmuters of energy, so we always are glad to have them show up.
Yeah, she she sleeps on my mesa.
Mm-hmm.
She's been sleeping in my inside my drum, my shamanic drum.
Okay.
She's funny. Very
Yeah, my dogs will push their way into my office when I'm doing a shamanic healing up there.
Mhm.
So I do remote ones or like friends and family here, and then I actually have an office locally too that I share space. So
Okay. All right. Well, I guess Mittens wants me to
I think it's time. I think it's time to go.
So, see you soon. I love you.
I love you too.
And I hope you thank you the rest of your day.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your day too. Have a good day, Sabrina.
Thank you. You too.